Okay, hi. So today we are going to learn how to make a homemade mayonnaise. This video is specifically for my students in my Culinary 3 class at Rocky Mount High School who are currently studying sauces. And so mayonnaise is a sauce, and it is in the family of emulsions. And so we are going to learn how to do it the hard way first, and then of course you can do it in a food processor or a blender after that. But we are going to start out with the hard way. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to have an egg yolk, and so we need to separate our egg out. And of course you want to use pasteurized eggs for making mayonnaise because there is no cooking involved in making mayonnaise, and we don't want to run the risk of making anybody sick. Now we only need one egg yolk for this particular recipe. So we're going to very carefully separate our egg and put our egg yolk in our bowl. Throw that out. And then in addition to our egg yolk in our bowl, we want to have just a couple of teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. I prefer just to take a half a lemon and squeeze out some of that juice directly into my bowl. Get these seeds out. And this will just assist with both flavor and with getting that emulsion once we start whisking. Okay, in addition to that, we're also going to put in a teaspoon of just some Dijon mustard. This also assists with getting your emulsions. And of course, it's also going to give it a nice little flavor profile as well. You can use regular mustard if that's the flavor you prefer, but Dijon gives it just that little bit of extra kick as well. Okay, you also need about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which can be adjusted later if you prefer to have a little bit more. And you're just going to whisk this together until it gets good and mixed together and frothy. Sometimes it is a good idea just to add a drop or two of water, cold water, to your mix. You don't want to add too much because you don't want to end up with a watery mayonnaise in the end. Okay, and so once you have that good and mixed together, and you get some of those bubbles that shows a good froth in there, then you're all set to start adding your oil. Now, you want to have 3/4 cup of a mild flavored neutral oil. Suggests to use something like a canola oil, a safflower oil. However, you can really go with whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to use avocado oil, that's fine. Some people really prefer a stronger flavored oil like an olive oil, and you can totally make mayonnaise with an olive oil. Just be aware that with a stronger flavored oil like that, then that's going to be the flavor that your mayonnaise is going to take on. But if that's what you like, then by all means, you should do that. Now, when you first start incorporating your oil into something like mayonnaise, in order to keep your emulsion and not have your mayonnaise break, you want to start out with just a couple of drops of oil at a time. So you're just going to put in a couple drops of oil, get it whisked in there really good. Now, I keep a towel under my bowl just because A, it makes less noise, and it keeps my bowl a little more steady, because later on, I'm not going to be wanting to use my hands to hold the bowl while I whisk. So you get that whisked in there good. And keep doing that for a little while, just a couple of drops. Whisk it in, get it good and incorporated. As you continue to do this, you'll see that it starts to slowly get a little bit thicker, lighten up in color a little bit, and that's a good sign. You start adding just a little bit more at a time and a little bit more at a time. If it starts to look like it might be trying to break, you can just slow down. Try to get it back together. And as long as it's staying smooth and lightening in color and thickening up a little bit. So now we'll just keep doing it this way. Gotta switch hands. You gotta switch hands sometimes. Your arm gets a little bit tired. That's okay too. Now, once you get to a point where it's coating your bowl pretty well, and it's pretty good and thick, you can start, and this is the part where you really want that towel under your bowl so your bowl doesn't move around too much. You can start adding your oil in a steady stream while you continue whisking. So you're going to hold your oil right here. A thin stream. You don't want a stream that's going to be too thick and crazy. You don't want to try to pour all your oil in at the same time. But in a nice thin stream, whisking while you do it. You need to stop every so often. Straighten your bowl around, show it whose boss you can. You'll notice that while you're doing this, again, it's continuing to thicken and lighten up in color. Starting to look a little more like what you're used to. Make sure you just continue to keep whisking. Don't stop whisking. Now, the reason that you're limited to a certain amount of oil and you don't want to try to put more than the recommended amount of oil in is because one egg yolk can only handle a certain amount of oil. So you just keep trucking and whisking until you get that full 3/4 cup oil incorporated into this egg yolk. Okay, we're almost there. We almost got it all. I'm going to go ahead and just get the rest of this oil in here because by this time, my emulsion is pretty stable and I'm not really worried about it breaking on me. And I'm just going to go ahead and incorporate the last of my oil. And as you can see, what we've got here looks like what we're used to in the land of mayonnaise. Got yourself a nice, thick, light colored, smooth consistency mayo. You can try it. If you think it needs an adjustment on salt or some other flavor, you can do that. You can add garlic, you can add cayenne pepper, a little bit of paprika, do whatever you want. If you want a little bit more lemon in there, you can do that too. If you go to a restaurant and you see the word aioli, that's basically what we just made, is we made an aioli. So it tastes delicious, in my opinion. Nothing you buy at the store has anything on a good homemade mayo. You can use it for your sandwiches and for all your daily things like that, but also you can double, triple, whatever the recipe, just keep your ratios the same and use it for making your own chicken salad, pimento cheese, you know, anything you would normally use and incorporate mayonnaise in. And it also ends up being not very expensive because an egg and some oil really don't cost you too much. So there you have it. That's how you make your own mayonnaise from scratch.